What if I told you the key to hitting 12% body fat isn't grueling workouts or endless runs? There's a smarter, easier way, and I'm going to tell you what it is and how to implement it in your fat loss program right now. So, first off, for most, I really do mean for most, you might be an exception to this, but running sucks. Running just sucks for fat loss. I'm going to tell you why. So first, it is high impact. It might start to hurt the knees. It might start to hurt the plantar fascia. It might start to hurt the feet. A lot of people have experienced this. I'm sure, and you can work through it. Like you can keep going, and of course, it will, your body will start to adapt. But still, it's a very uncomfortable process, and it may not heal if there was too much done to it at first. Like you might have to, semi permanently take a break from running. Second, it is too intense. A lot of people can't keep it up for very long, especially if you're watching this video. You're probably leaning towards being the beginner fat loss, at the beginning fat loss stage. And so it's probably going to be too intense. Third, it's not as natural. And I know, there's going to be someone in the comments, running is not, of course it is. I'm just saying it's not as natural to us. A lot of, I think I heard this, stat that something like 85 or 95% of adults haven't sprinted in the last 10 years or haven't ran out at their full, speed. Now running, I know, is different than sprinting, but still not many of us actually run anymore. And so, we do walk all the time. And so it's not as natural as walking. And then number 4 is dread. A lot of people, they end up dreading their workout because, running just sucks. They just hate it. Now, if you love it, then you can click off this video because this isn't going to be super helpful for you. If you love it and you are an avid runner, you probably don't have a weight loss issue. But if you do, then I would look into your diet. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive on into walking and how that is going to be a lot smarter for you, and then how you can implement that into your program to actually make it effective. Because you might have tried walking before and it didn't work for you. Why is that? We're going to kind of get into it. Okay. So first, with walking, it's low impact. So, it's the opposite of some of those things I was just saying. There's going to be a lot of these points, but I'm going to go a little deeper into them. So it doesn't hurt the knees. That is a key step. I've even had comments on like my recent videos that like walking uphill is and we're going to get into the specifics of like how to walk and, incline and everything like that. But that's going to hurt the knees. I don't know many people who simply walking hurts their knees. If it does hurt your knees, then you start at a lower incline. You start at a slower speed. Obviously, if literally just walking a really slow pace in a walker hurts your knees, then you got more wrong with your knees. You got to go get that checked out. So it's low impact. It's not going to hurt the knees. It's much less likely to hurt the feet. Plantar fasciitis, if you deal with that, it still could be because you're walking, you're taking more steps. You might still have to build into it, but it's going to be a lot less impact than running. I could be totally wrong in this stat, but I believe that running puts 7 times your body weight, or 17 times. It's something ridiculous, but I think it's 7 or 9 times your body weight in shock into your lower body, into your knees and hips. Whereas walking, and we're going to get into rucking as well a little bit, walking is like 2 times or 1.5 times, and rucking's like 2.5 times or something like that. It's much lower impact, and that's just according to research. I'm sorry, runners. It is how it is what it is. And then the second point in the low impact is it's easier to build into. So, running, you could go for a run and the next day be super sore, and not just like a good sore, like an achy sore, knees, hips, ankles, whatever. Running, you might be sore, sure, but it's much less likely that you accidentally overdo it. So to summarize that point, it is low impact. Number 2 within, why walking is so good, it's controlled intensity. So running is as well, like technically on a treadmill, you can control the intensity, but specifically with walking, because it's lower intensity, you're going to really be able to hone in on exactly what you want to do, and you're going to be able to keep it that entire time instead of getting too tired and have to back it off. And we're going to talk about that. So first is speed. So if you're on a treadmill, you set it to, I'm just making these numbers up. Don't judge this as if you're like doing well or not. Let's say you set it at 3 miles an hour, and then the incline you set at 2%. And as you get better at that, you go to 3% and 4%, and you keep the speed the same the entire time. Since you're forced to walk the same speed, if you're getting too tired and you don't accidentally stop pedaling like on a bike or something. So if you're on an exercise bike or an elliptical, you can increase the level, or in this case, I'm talking about incline, but you can increase the level, and you might accidentally, without realizing it, be pedaling slower, be moving slower, kind of making up for it. The treadmill forces you to walk a certain speed. And so if you are walking at 7% when you used to only be able to walk at 2%, you are now burning more calories completely for free, meaning like I know you're giving more energy, and so it's not free, but no more time commitment. You are burning more calories within the same amount of time. And then the last aspect of that, which I didn't write on the card, would be time. So you can really control, like if you can do 3 miles an hour at 2% incline for 30 minutes, you can easily keep that consistent and make sure that the entire 30 minutes is spent at that speed. Whereas running, you might overdo it. You might find that, you're tired that day. And I'm not saying that can't happen with walking, but I find it happens a lot less. Another thing that you can use is a Stairmaster. Because the Stairmaster, although it has a fixed incline, usually, I've never seen any that go like steeper, because it's just stairs, But although it has a fixed incline, you can control the speed. So the incline's like as high as you're ever going to want to go. And so if you're walking at a level 1, level 2, level 3, if eventually you're walking at a level 10, you are, obviously burning way more calories than you used to at a level 1. So as your fitness improves, improve that intensity, and it's just in a really controlled environment. Now, I find with the Stairmaster, it can be quite difficult. You might, be thinking that yourself, like, I can't do the Stairmaster for 30 minutes. That's crazy. Well, you probably can if you go slow enough, even if it's like agonizingly slow, one step and the next step and then the next step. It's crazy how exhausting going up a flight of stairs endlessly can be. So, start off really slow, and maybe you just start with 5 minutes and then you build into 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and that's how you're progressing at first instead of speed. And then the last part on this controlling intensity is rucking. And no, I'm not cursing at you. If you've never heard of rucking, a lot of people haven't. I bet on YouTube it's a different. A lot of my clients have not heard of rucking. I bet on YouTube you've heard of it. It's where you put weight on your back, and you can start with, just water bottles and a drawstring bag. It can be cheap. You don't have to buy the fancy rucking gear, but then you probably will, if you like it, get into rucking, you will buy the fancier gear, and it's just really well padded and really ergonomic. Like they do have a purpose. It's not just a fancy book bag, but it is a book bag that is made to be, to carry a lot of weight. It increases, I don't know, I'm giving a lot of stats and I'm not 100% sure on this this podcast today, but it increases calorie burn by like 2 or 3 times on the same exact walk. Imagine building up to 7% incline, and then you put a little bit of weight in a rucksack, and then you're at 8% incline, and then 9% incline, then you put a little bit more weight in the rucksack. I have an awesome free resource for you that is called the 30-Day Shape Up Challenge. It's 30 days of 4 habits that I run my clients through that is going to help you get a great start to your fat loss journey. And there's a bonus 5th habit in case you fall off the wagon at all. All my clients love it, and it's free. So just scan this QR code here or click the link in the description, and I'll send that straight to your email. So now there's all these ways of increasing intensity. Now, I'm not saying you can't do that with running. Of course you could, but if you ever run with 30 pounds on your back, it starts to get really annoying. Especially now, rucksacks, they kind of cinch the plate down. So that's one of the benefits of having a rucksack, is the plate doesn't move a whole lot, but it still is going to be hitting your back a little bit. And that's why walking is just superior, in my opinion. So the third point. Oh no, my card's stuck to the table. Must be some moisture there. Yeah, something happened to the card. Either way, so it's more enjoyable. It's easier to focus on podcasts and videos. Walking is more enjoyable than running. Easier to focus on things. Books. If you've ever tried to read a book while running on the treadmill, it is maddening. I gave up. Like, I don't know. I haven't tried much. Maybe it takes practice, because I gave up literally trying once or twice. But it is possible to read while walking. Now, that still might not be your forte. But podcasts, videos, I find that whenever a person is running, they are just more distracted, because it's more intense. There's more shock going up the body. And so I find that they want more low intensity in order to listen to their podcast, in order to listen to their audiobook. And then because they're not like dying on the treadmill because they're running, they're walking at a manageable pace. They're able to take in that information. And here's I don't know, maybe this is like an underrated tip, or maybe you're like, I don't know, I just want to listen to music. But for me, I like my cardio time to be a time where I can better myself. So that's some sort of self-help book. That's the Bible. That is, I watch a lot of YouTube videos on the science behind fat loss and muscle building and stuff like that. I've been listening to a lot of, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Physical therapy type things. Even though I'm not a physical therapist, I just still like to have that information in case someone needs it, and I can at least give it to them and tell them I'm not a physical therapist. But the point is that you can use that time to better yourself, and if you can focus on it, that's a good thing. If you go 30 minutes just listening to someone talk and you don't remember any of it because you were so focused on the workout, that's going to be more boring. Okay, so the fourth mini point here is more calories burned. You will burn more, and this is going to like trigger some people. I'm going to give you the actual breakdown of this in a second. I have it written on this board. I didn't think this through those. I'm going to have to read it backwards, but I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. But I have 4 points here. So you are going to burn more calories walking than with running. I promise you. So number 1, you can do it for longer. And maybe like an avid runner would disagree, but they're high, even if they're an avid runner, because there is no way you can't walk longer than you can run. So you can walk longer, which you might be like, I don't want to spend more time walking or more time exercising, but it is just a benefit that you can, if you go for a run and you can only run for 15 minutes because you're out of shape, walking, you could probably walk if you do the incline thing. Like I was saying, you could set it a really low incline, set your speed, go on a treadmill, listen to a podcast. You could probably walk, even if you're out of shape, at least 30 minutes. So you can do it for longer, and that really helps. Number 2, and we're going to specifically go into this. Maybe I go into it now. Yeah, I guess we do it now. Afterburn is overrated. It is completely overrated. There's this, and I used to preach this pretty heavily to my clients, that there's this afterburn effect, that if you work out hard enough, including with weights, that you're burning for 3-4 days after. I think I used to quote like 2 days. I probably heard it from someone, and as I looked into it, it's just not true. Now, it kind of is true, and that's why I wasn't lying. There is an afterburn effect. It's just completely overrated. So hopefully you can see this. So intense form of exercise. Let's pretend you burn 300 calories per hour. And this is like an elite athlete. These are just illustration numbers, but an elite athlete is going to be higher. Let's say for the average person, an intense form of exercise, 300 calories per hour. Moderate intensity, steady state, miss. That's what I would consider like uphill walking, 200 calories per hour. Let's say it's something like that. It could even be like 175, just for easy math, 200 calories per hour. The intense person is going to do it for 30 minutes. They're going to burn 150 calories total. The moderate intensity steady state is going to do it for an hour. They're going to burn 200 calories total. So already but they're like, oh, but the afterburn. So the afterburn studies show that it increases about 17%. And I think that was towards the high end. So let's just say it was even average. If it increases it by 17%, then this person's burning 176 calories, still less than the person that walked. And that person is now sore. That person's feet probably hurt. That person's knees probably hurt. They're not going to do it again the next day. Because of the dread, they are dreading their workout, and then they miss their workout, and they feel bad, and they eat Oreos. And it's just, that whole thing was due to this afterburn effect of trying to work out intensely and therefore getting more calories burned. But you don't burn more. You just don't. Now, per minute, you do. I totally will admit that. If you could keep up intense exercise for an hour, you would burn way more calories. Good luck, though, doing that the next day and the next day and the next day, whereas with a walk, you totally could do that very nearly every day. Now, I do encourage my clients to increase the intensity of their walks with rucking, uphill, whatever. So, like, even on off days, like I'll take a walk around the neighborhood, but I don't call that my cardio, So there's a difference there, but still, you can walk almost every day. Okay. We kind of talked about this. I'm sure some of this stuff already came up, but you're more likely to stick with it because it's not as dreadful. If you just have to go on the treadmill, put on some headphones and listen to your favorite podcast or listen to your favorite music or watch your favorite TV show or whatever, you are so much more likely to do it. And that is what is key here. Now, that's why at the beginning I said, if you love running, this doesn't really apply to you, because if you love it, you are very likely to do it. And so all this stuff that I'm saying is through the filter of the average person just hates running. I don't hear many people tell me I love running. Now, you have to remember who I'm around. I'm around people who are obese. I'm around people who are out of shape. I'm around people at the gym trying to get better. And I'm around people who are lifting weights a lot as well. None of us enjoy running. Now, cardio is important. Running, just not. It's not important. I don't like it. And it's not. This isn't just me like giving off my. I have 10 years experience as a personal trainer. This isn't just my opinion. I'm trying to like push it on you. This is what I've heard from people say. Okay, so walking uphill and fast equals scorched calories. So it is difficult. It is harder. What I mean by that is it is harder to walk fast than it is to slow jog. Without the impact, without the potential dread, you're able to focus again on a podcast and all this stuff. It's kind of, all kind of interwoven together. It is better to run, it is better to walk fast and hard than it is to run. Now, I'm not saying you have to walk fast and hard. I'm just saying like that option is there where you can actually increase the intensity and it's still better, and you might get a little more of that afterburn effect, so I just really don't see a reason to run. Running is an inferior way of losing weight, in my opinion. Now, I have seen people who just love running and they're like, I used to be a runner and I've gained all this weight, and they start running again and they lose weight. That's because they loved it. But for most people, running just sucks. All right. So now the important part. How do you use this? Now, I to be honest, added this at the very end without any of my cards. So I'm hoping, I think I can tell you pretty easily. We already talked about the incline and speed combination. I think a treadmill or a Stairmaster, and I know the Stairmaster is a fixed incline, but still, you can control those two pieces of equipment without accidentally going slower. On a rowing machine, if you increase the difficulty from 3 to 7, you might accidentally row less times per minute. Who knows what that does to your calories? So I really prefer uphill treadmill, outdoor rucking, because you can just increase the weight, or indoor rucking as well on a treadmill, or with the Stairmaster. So pick some settings. I'll give you the exact layout right here. Let's say you start. This could be your starting. If you haven't started walking yet, this is how I would start you. 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. Start with 2 if that's easy. Build to 3 if that's easy. Build to 4. But 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. Start with 2.7 miles an hour and 2% incline. If that's hard, decrease the incline. If that's easy, increase the speed first. I would go up to like 3, maybe even 3.2, and then start working on the incline. Find a place where for 30 minutes, it's difficult, but not overwhelming. We'll say like a 7 out of 10. As you get more fit, you're going to find that 2%, 3.2%, or 3.2 miles an hour, 3% incline. You're going to find that 3% increases to 4, and then 5, and then 6. And then I might start going like, okay, maybe instead of 2 to 3 times a week, 30 minutes, maybe I'm doing 5 times, I guess you wouldn't jump, that far. 3 to 4 times a week for 30 minutes, and then 4 to 5 times a week. And let's say you build up to 5 times a week. And now I might go into, doing 45 minutes and to each one of those workouts. If you're doing 5 times a week and you add 15 minutes to each workout, that is an hour and 15 minutes total for the week. It is crazy how that adds up. So that is where I would start you out. I would combine this with obviously good diet, and I have other videos on that, and a weightlifting program. So I would weightlift at least 2 times a week, total body, ideally 3 times a week if you could. And if you wanted to go more, you could split that up into upper, lower, or something like that. Again, more videos on that. You can look into that. I won't go into the specifics of the lifting side of things, but lifting total body, working out every muscle for at least 3 sets, at least twice a week. That's how I would do it. And at most, if you're doing total body, 3 times a week. And then I already mentioned combining that with good diet. And then I would track your steps, making sure that on your off days, you're not letting your calories. This is so important if you're still here. Congratulations. I should have probably mentioned this earlier. If you start adding cardio in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and because of that, you're tired, and on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you're a sloth, you're going to, negate some of those calories. That's why people claim that they do more they do more cardio and they're stuck. They're still stuck, or maybe they're not, they do less cardio. Now they're losing weight. It could be because they're doing less cardio. Now they have more energy to move and stuff. So you got to make sure to keep your steps tracked. I'm not saying you necessarily have to increase them on your cardio days. They're going to increase, but on your off days, you want to just keep a base. So let's say your average steps is 7,000 and you add in cardio. You want to definitely keep that at 7,000. Ideally, I might try to even raise that to 8,000 even on my off days, and now I'm getting extra calorie burn on those days. Call it informal cardio or whatever you want, but some lazy cardio or whatever. But that's how I would do that. And so implementing that all together is going to really, really help you. I'm telling you, walking is going to be better for you than running for losing weight.